Hey everyone, Lumiere log number 16. We're coming at you in 2019. I'm Tim Williams, this is Joshua Kirk. And like I said, we're 2019. We're 16 logs in and we have an exciting year planned for you. So, we have the staff back in the office today. I've come back from my extended holiday.
Looking good.
Thank you. Summertime. Sun's out, guns out.
What was that?
Guns, yeah,
Go on, let's show everyone your guns.
I'm shy. I'm shy.
That's right, so we're back in the office and it's exciting to get back and be hustling with the team again. So This week has just sort of been a grounding week. Everyone's just come in and just trying to get momentum again. It's amazing that momentum sort of just disappears when everyone trickles away over holiday. But it's great to be back on board with everyone this week. As we say, 2019 is going to be an awesome year and we're pretty pumped for what the future holds.
Yeah. So one thing we quickly wanted to talk to you about is the last 6 months, actually backing up, Joshua and I had a strategy meeting a couple of weeks ago and we took some time to reflect on the last 6 months, what we did well, what we could have done better, and what we just did poorly. Just helped us to reflect on our strengths and the areas that we needed to work on. But one thing that a good takeaway was we definitely clarified what we are not, what Lumiere is not in terms of who we are as a company. So as we are digital content creators, we've definitely worked out we are not a marketing company, we are not a branding agency, and we are not there was one other one.
Cafe.
We're not a KFC either. But what we do, obviously digital content is something that filters into all of those channels, even cafes and KFC if they want to use our services.
So I think it might be, I'm just going to ignore that. It might be good to just back up a bit and explain the thought process by discovering who we are not, because it's often hard to, I guess, put into words exactly what you have in terms of your vision for the company. It's sort of all out there and the vision's big and we want to be doing heaps of cool things and I guess that will eventually, but it's very hard to pin that down and say this is exactly what our company is doing. It's much easier to say, okay, we're not this, we're not this, we're not this, we're not this, and by eliminating all of them, then it just refines our focus and then we're able to just pour more energy into that. Because ultimately we want to deliver the best service, the best package, the best value for money possible in the digital space. And if we're offering all these other things that we're potentially not passionate about and potentially not skilled, and it's just not a good offering for our clients. So we want to deliver the best quality possible and just refine our focus and pour all our energy into doing something that, one, we're passionate about, but two, we're actually really good at as well.
You've heard us say quite a bit in previous logs, for us it's all about finding our lanes as individuals within Lumiere and helping our staff find their lane as well. But taking that to a high level, we also need to find Lumiere's lane, and I think the last 6 months has been a really great journey for us to be able to find that, and we're definitely on the path to where we know that our specialty is we are digital content creators, and our lane is also in distribution as well.
So that's not to say that we aren't willing to expand and explore other areas, but right now with the 5 people that we have on board with Lumiere, we're digital content creators. We're pouring all our energy at this point in time in January 2019, into that photo, video production space.
And distribution.
That's right. We are distribution as well.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of summer here in New Zealand for all of the Northern Hemisphere watchers, which I think is probably about 1, and it might be my sister.
To illustrate summer, if I remove this.
Yeah.
Look at the sun on my leg.
Hey, look, we're in Nelson, and Nelson's just been awarded the sunniest place in New Zealand, and that is just beautiful noises coming there. Nelson's been awarded the sunniest place in New Zealand with the most sunshine hours, and that's just a cool fact.
Where?
No, so if you've listened to any of our earlier logs, you'd know both Joshua and I are maintaining our personal brands in the wedding world. So I'm photographing, Joshua's photographing, and as a videographer. So being summer, we're in peak season now, and this is a way that we weren't too sure how this summer was going to running two businesses and two brands. So we're right in the middle of the wedding season. How are you finding it, bro?
It's certainly a challenge balancing the two. So it's essentially two companies, but the thing with a wedding brand is that a majority of it is myself. So I go and shoot, I organise all the contracts, I talk to the couples, I edit, I do a bunch of all the admin work. And so I think something that's become really apparent is that Tim and I both have limited time. And so to maximise the time that we do have, I think it's natural to outsource a lot of that and delegate a lot of that as well. So
A lot of what?
A lot of the time-sucking activities.
Which are?
Admin, Studio Ninja.
So how are you going to outsource that? Is Soph doing it?
No, she hates it.
Is Billy Ray Cyrus doing it?
Bro, I was actually like on a roll there. I was about to get there, and then you just cut me off.
I'm sorry, bro. I just needed clarity on what you were talking about.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
I feel like being on holiday, we've just lost a little bit of what we used to have.
Zing. So you heard it from the man. We've lost our zing.
Okay. So as I was saying before Tim interrupted me, it takes a lot of time to run a single brand, let alone two brands. So Tim and I are aware of the fact that we have 8 hours a day, 8 hours on a work day, and we need to delegate a lot of the responsibilities of running a business in order to be efficient and maintain our personal lives, our social lives, and maintain face time with our family.
Yeah.
So what that means is delegating a lot of the work. It could be admin work, it could be editing work, it could even be the shooting of the weddings, so that we're not running around like headless chickens trying to run two brands. So we're bringing on board a few editors. Tim's actually trialing outsourcing his editing this season, and I'm looking at bringing on a couple of different editing positions just to help me push through the work. And then obviously Lumiere is expanding, and it's great to not be on the tools all the time. So Tim and I can focus on running the business, sort of sitting on top, being able to view the business as a whole from a bird's eye is a great perspective. But when you're stuck down doing all the grunt work, you kind of lose that perspective, perhaps lose a little bit of vision for where the company could be. So that's what we're trying to do this season. It's certainly a challenge, because as creatives, if you're a creative out there, you'll know that we just hold so tightly onto our little thing that we make, and it's a piece of our soul. Every time we send a wedding off or take a photo, give it to a client, it's like a little piece of you, and giving that to somebody else to edit or to process is actually quite difficult as a creative. So I'm having to let go a little bit of that as well, and look at the bigger picture.
It was actually a really beautiful moment towards the end of last year. We had a couple of our staff, Danielle and Ariana, were creating content that was going out and being used, and it was stuff that Joshua and I hadn't actually created. So it was actually one of those moments where it was like, this is what it feels like when people are creating content and we're not on the tools. So for the importance of scale is for us to get off the tools.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one. So did you get much rest over the summer, bro?
I did. Well, yes, no.
Rest looks a lot different for you now, hey?
Yeah. So, coming back after a nice break, I've actually been out of the office or out of Nelson since December 10th. So it's been probably 6 weeks. Not all of it has been a holiday. I've definitely been working while we've been away, but over those 6 weeks, I think it's just clarified again in my mind that rest is so important for creativity. So how I feel right now is head and shoulders different, or head and shoulders above how I felt December going into the holidays. I was pretty tired, I wouldn't say burnt out, but definitely it had been a big few months, having a baby, all the business stuff, and so I was certainly ready for a break. And now I'm back, and I just feel, now we're back, and I think rest is just super important. So something that we'd love to incorporate into our team culture is just this element of rest and finding space within our weeks and our personal lives, even within an office environment, to just find those little spaces to rest. Maybe it's going for a walk just to get our head out of the office, just to get out of the office, to rise above that kind of stressful environment, just to maintain perspective.
Get those endorphins going as well.
Yeah, exercise. There's going to be lots more mountain biking this year. Hasn't been a good start, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Do you know one of my goals is to do the Barney once a week?
Have you already stuffed up?
Yeah. I'm behind on my goals.
We need to do a big track. Heafy?
Yeah.
Heafy or Ghost Trail this year?
Do you want to enter the Copper Mine Classic?
No.
Okay. One thing that we're always looking at doing here at Lumiere is refining our processes and workflows, and Frame.io, as you would know, rhymes, I'm a poet, has actually come out with a document which is a workflow, a videographer's guide to workflow. So
You almost got there.
I almost got there. Frame.io has come out with a document over 100,000 words. I was going to say 100,000 pages. It's like a Bible. 100,000 words.
It's the Workflow Bible.
Okay. It's the Workflow Bible by Frame.io. So we've downloaded it. I've delegated the responsibilities to this guy and the guy behind the camera to read through it and give me a one-page summary by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But in summary,
Okay,
how is
so
it?
I took it upon myself to read every word of the 100,000 words workflow guide, and I got to say, I thought I knew a lot about workflow, but when I started diving into the nitty-gritty of this document, it really unpacked a lot of concepts, a lot of abbreviations within the workflow space that I just didn't know, or it was a great refresher. So if you're a videographer out there, even if you're just shooting, you might not be an editor, definitely check out the Frame.io workflow guide. It's getting updated all the time, and it's got case studies from a whole bunch of different creative industries and also different post-production houses, and breaks down the workflows from big cinema, full-length feature film productions right down to little documentary edits or 30 to 60-second commercial edits. There's a lot of knowledge in there. So if you're a videographer or an editor or doing anything in that capacity to do with post-production film workflow, then this guide is for you. Make sure you check it out. There'll be a link in the description of this video. Click on that and just spend, I don't know, an hour a day for the next few weeks just going through, refreshing your mind, refreshing your thoughts around workflow, because it's so important. If you can save an hour every time you open up Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, whatever you're working in, then it's kind of paid for itself in terms of time. Minimal investment, great return. Make sure you check it out.
So can I throw you on the hot seat?
Yeah, go on.
Give me one takeaway from the document so far.
Okay, so I learned that a mezzanine codec is different to a capture codec, and it's different to an edit codec. So no more, you'll have to check out the workflow guide.
And an export codec?
That's right. So there's different codecs at each stage. Capture, offline editing, online editing, and exporting, and then archiving. So it's actually 5. Mezzanine codec is something that is transcoded from a capture codec, and then it holds the same. Then a mezzanine codec is sitting there from the offline edit, all the way through. So you don't have to continually convert your codecs all the way through the workflow pipeline.
That's great, and that's why I shoot photos.
So that's Lumiere log 16. That's yours.
Oh, I thought you were taking us home because I bought us.
Bro,
Took us on the road.
you shoot photos, but you use DaVinci Resolve to export your slideshows. Can I say that? Because you don't really.
Game chamber.
Chamber.
Game chamber. Yeah, the game chamber is a little like nutshell that you just.
Well, thanks for tuning in. This has been Lumiere log 16. I don't want to promise this, but we will hopefully get one a week from here on out for 2019. One log a week.
That's not a promise.
That's not a promise, but we will try our very best. It's actually the hardest thing. I don't know how the daily vloggers do it. It's impossible.
Well, we're not getting paid to do this. If someone out there wants to actually sponsor us to do logs, you are welcome.
All right, guys. That's us. My name's Joshua. Tim Williams.
Hey.
This is Lumiere. This is 2019. See you later.